Welcome to the Technical Writing Success Podcast from Curt Robbins, where we help you get smarter than your competition. This is episode 159. I'm Fred, and joining me today is Daphne.
Hello. Today we're getting into a subject that seems pretty straightforward on the surface, a family holiday.
Right.
But it's actually a really dense and complicated study in cultural evolution, politics, and some massive market forces.
That's a great way to put it.
Mhm.
We're exploring the dualities of Thanksgiving in America. It's this holiday that's, on one hand, a solemn remembrance of survival.
And on the other, it's this huge, sometimes gluttonous celebration of abundance. It's rooted in the 17th century, but today it functions as this massive pivot point in the economic calendar.
So to trace that whole journey, what are we working from today?
We're relying on a piece published recently by senior technical writer Curt Robbins. It's titled Thanksgiving 2025, History, Evolution, and Economics. That article just went up on LinkedIn November 27, 2025. And our mission really is to unpack how this holiday went from a simple harvest gathering to a multi-billion-dollar industry.
Right, giving you the context to understand what it all means today. Okay, let's start at the beginning, or what everyone thinks is the beginning. The 1621 event.
Yes.
That popular image of the harmonious sit-down dinner. The Pilgrims and the Wampanoag people all together.
And that image is powerful, but it's mostly a myth. If you look at the historical record, the story is far more nuanced. The source really emphasizes that the 1621 gathering was basically an English harvest festival.
They didn't even call it Thanksgiving.
No, not at the time. And the guest list, that tells you everything about the power dynamic.
Who was there?
You had the 53 surviving Pilgrims who were just desperate after that first winter, and they were joined by about 90 Wampanoag men, including their leader, Massasoit.
90. So they were vastly outnumbered.
Hugely. This was not just a friendly get-together, it was strategic.
And the food wasn't what we'd recognize today either. No turkey and mashed potatoes.
Definitely not. The Wampanoag actually contributed 5 deer. The rest was wildfowl sow, geese, duck seafood, and corn. But the critical insight here is that this gathering was primarily a political alliance sealed by a feast.
Okay, explain that political context. Why was it so strategic for both of them?
Well, the Pilgrims, they needed the Wampanoag's agricultural knowledge just to survive. I mean, they were completely dependent on them. They'd been devastated by disease and were facing threats from rival tribes. Massasoit needed allies, even these strange European ones. So the meal was really just the seal on a survival treaty.
That makes so much more sense. It's a necessary exchange, not just a spontaneous thank you. So if 1621 wasn't the real start, who are the true architects of the national holiday?
This is the twist. The holiday has way more to do with George Washington, Abraham Lincoln, and FDR than it does with the Pilgrims. For almost 200 years after 1621, Thanksgivings were just irregular regional things, mostly religious.
So no national uniformity at all.
None. Washington issued the first national proclamation in 1789. He was asking Americans to acknowledge civil and religious liberty. But even that didn't stick. It faded back into a regional tradition.
And the push to make it a fixed national day came from a really surprising person, Sarah Josepha Hale.
Yes. The editor of Godey's Lady's Book, and maybe more famously, the author of Mary Had a Little Lamb.
So how did she pull it off?
She was a master of long-term strategy. She lobbied presidents for decades, arguing that the country needed this unifying ritual.
And she used her magazine as a platform.
And her persistence finally paid off during the Civil War. It was Abraham Lincoln in 1863 who saw the political value in her idea. He proclaimed a national Thanksgiving for the final Thursday of November, specifically to help heal the wounds of the nation.
So that's when it became official and national.
That's the moment.
Let's take a brief break for a special message from our producer, Curt Robbins.
Hi, this is Curt Robbins. First, thanks for listening. I truly appreciate your support. I want to let you know that I'm currently accepting new clients. My rates are affordable, and I have more than 25 years of experience working for enterprise companies like Microsoft, Northrop Grumman, Oracle, PNC Bank, FedEx, USAA, and Wells Fargo, among many others. If you want to improve your IT documentation and communications, hire me. I deliver fast, know how to use AI to improve efficiency and accuracy, and love going the extra mile to satisfy my clients. Thank you for subscribing and listening. Back to you, Daphne and Fred.
Welcome back to the Technical Writing Success Podcast.
Okay, before the break, we established that Lincoln made the holiday national. But it really turned into the commercial giant we know today in the 20th century. And that transition was not smooth.
Not at all. The 20th century is where the holiday becomes completely inseparable from the economy. The biggest crisis actually happened in 1939, right in the middle of the Great Depression.
What happened?
Well, retailers were desperate, and that year, November had 5 Thursdays, which meant a shorter Christmas shopping season.
Ah, so they lobbied the president.
They lobbied FDR to just move the date, to move Thanksgiving up a week to boost sales.
And he did it.
He did. And the result was total chaos, public outcry. People had calendars, travel plans.
And some states just refused to change.
Absolutely. For 3 years, the country had 2 Thanksgivings. They called it Franksgiving.
Ah.
Congress finally had to step in 1941 and pass a law making it permanently the 4th Thursday in November.
So that's when its modern job, kicking off the retail season, was officially cemented in law.
That's it. And at the same time, mass media was turning it into a day of national spectatorship.
You mean like the parade?
The Macy's parade, which started in 1924. And football, the NFL institutionalized it, the Lions since 34, the Cowboys since 66. Suddenly, almost all Americans are consuming the same entertainment at the same time.
And the meal itself became standardized, too. You get pop-up turkey timers, stovetop stuffing in 1972, canned cranberry sauce. It's the industrialization of the dinner plate.
Exactly. Which brings us to today and the massive economics of Thanksgiving in 2025. This holiday is an incredibly sensitive indicator for so many sectors.
Okay, let's start with the groceries. What's the feast costing people this year?
According to the source, the average cost for a classic meal for 10 people in 2025 is $55.18. And what's interesting is that this is actually a decrease of about 5% from last year.
A decrease. That's surprising with all the talk about inflation. How does that work?
It works because of the turkey. It's a loss leader. The average 16-pound turkey is selling for about $21.50. Retailers are intentionally taking a loss on the bird.
To get you into the store.
Exactly, to get you in the door to buy all the high-margin side dishes.
So that $41 million spent on turkeys nationally in early November is really more of a marketing cost for the stores.
Precisely. It's a calculated cost of acquisition. They're happy to lose a little on the turkey to make a lot on everything else.
And what about those side dishes? The source mentioned some big price swings.
It's a real mixed bag. It shows where the supply chain pressures are. So stuffing mix is down almost 9%. But fresh sweet potatoes, they saw a huge hike.
How much?
Up 37%. That kind of jump tells you there was likely a crop shortage or some kind of specific weather event.
So that's a key piece of data for anyone in logistics. Okay, moving on from the food to the people, the travel must be a logistical nightmare.
It is a marvel, really. They're projecting 82 million Americans will travel 50 miles or more. That is the busiest on record.
Wow, and most of them are driving.
73 million of them, which puts enormous pressure on fuel supplies and infrastructure. And the average person is budgeting almost $300 just for travel expenses for that little window.
To get there and back. Okay, finally, this all leads up to the main event, economically speaking, the Cyber 5 shopping weekend.
This is it. This is the modern culmination of the holiday. The 5-day stretch from Thanksgiving through Cyber Monday is projected to bring in $127 billion in consumer spending.
$127 billion.
And of that, online spending for the rec is projected at $78 billion.
So it's less about the Black Friday doorbuster rush now.
Much less. It's shifted to a sustained digital strategy, which is why you see big retailers like Walmart and Target closing on Thanksgiving Day itself.
They're signaling that they value family time.
Knowing full well that the demand hasn't gone anywhere, it's just moved online.
So tying this all together, we've gone from a 17th century survival strategy to a $127 billion economic engine. What's the final thought here?
I think the final thought is that Thanksgiving is this perfectly engineered moment of duality. It's the one day of the year the American economy pretty much pauses all production. The factories are quiet, the markets are closed, and everyone focuses almost entirely on consumption.
Consumption of food, travel, sports.
And time with family. It's this massive collective pause in productivity that exists solely to launch the most productive retail period of the entire year.
Thank you for listening to the Technical Writing Success Podcast from Curt Robbins, where we help you get smarter than your competition. Remember to like, subscribe, comment, and share. We'll see you next time.